Okay. Let me do one thing. Actually, again, somebody has deleted this Terraform server. So I will just take an old server, and on top of that, I'll install Terraform and start my work. So this is the server which I have started.
Just a confirmation, Terraform is started from yesterday, right? Because I didn't join.
Yesterday only. You will get the recordings in case you have missed it.
Yeah, I missed yesterday. So it has started from yesterday only, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So let me log into my instance. SSH auth browse. And I think this is the one. Open it up. Let me check the key. I think there is some problem with the key. Terraform server. DevOps KP is the key. Let me become a root user and I'll say host name Terraform server. And again, sudo su hyphen. Now, Terraform is not there because the earlier machine which I had was deleted. So I'll quickly install Terraform. Where there was typo EC2 user, I think it worked. Anyhow, install Terraform on Amazon Linux 2. Take the first one. No, not this time. I think we're doing it for the second time, but suddenly it got deleted. So one step, take this RPM. Second is install. Okay, let's clear out everything. Now let's start. So I will say mkdir first demo. Sorry, mkdir first demo. And then let's go inside. Now, what I told you is when I start my work, the first thing I will do is I will say Terraform init because I want to initialize that empty repository to get my work done. Now, it will be better. It will be better if you start like this. So I will say nano, give any name, but the extension should be .pf. And I'm going to delete all those things which I don't need. This access key and secret access key also I'm removing for time being, because I told you yesterday that if you use this access key and secret access key, it is not the right way. Even if you use AWS configure or you're directly hard coding it here, that's not the right way. Then I told you that we will be using US East 1. Okay, and then I will change the AMI. So let's wait for this. So this is what I have done. So let me go here and say, this is Mumbai. Let me change it to North Virginia. instance, and I'm going with Amazon Linux, and this is the AMI for me. So I showed you that AMI is specific to a region. So make sure that you pick them correctly. This is now. Now, if I do a Terraform init, and if I would have done earlier, what will be the difference? Now, because you have already written your main.tf, it knows that the provider is AWS. So the Terraform init can initialize things in a better way. So Terraform init. So now it knows that I have to install a plugin, and that plugin is for AWS, and it will go ahead and do the work. In case you do not rhyme, please edit main.tf. Where did you get the syntax copied from? I will share this content for you. I think it was shared yesterday, but taken it. Let me just give it to you again. So this is the repo where you will find the code. Because there is error. I have not executed the code. Hold on. I have not executed the code. Even if there is error, it will be detected. I have not executed the code still. I've just gone ahead and did a Terraform init. And the moment I do a Terraform init, it will see that the plugin which you are using, what kind of plugin are you expecting? So it is expecting a plugin for AWS, and this is the latest plugin. If you run Terraform init without mentioning the plugin or without mentioning the main.tf, it will not know which plugin it has to work with. So that may not be that accurate. So always write this main.tf and then do Terraform init. Now, some of you are pointing that there is a mistake. Now, the best way to recognize a mistake, because it's a small code you saw by your naked eyes, but when you run in an environment and there are like 1,000 lines or 100 lines of code, you don't know where is the problem. So you come here and say Terraform validate. So the moment you go ahead and say Terraform validate, it will try to validate the content. It's saying it is correct. Let me just check what is the problem. Nano main.tf. Okay, the AMI is wrong is what you're saying, right? I think the AMI is wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and remove these two guys. So these are the two guys which are causing problem. Okay, so this is my content. So syntactically it is right. The only problem was that the 2xyz came here. Fine. Now, once I have the content, okay, everything is okay. The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to do ls minus LA or AL. Now, if you see here, there are two things which got created, .terraform and .terraform.loc.hcl. The first, or this terraform.loc.hcl, this guy has come from here. Somewhere here it will tell you. See here. Terraform has created a log file .terraform.hcl to record the provider selection made above. Okay, and related to that provider, it will give you all the details. Now, if you look at this guy .terraform, it will have that actual content. Now, I will do one thing. I will install a software. I will say yum install tree. So tree is nothing but it will show you folder, which folder is inside, like that. It will show you the structure. So if you come here, say tree and .terraform, you will see this is the structure. .terraform. Inside that you have provider, you have registry.terraform.io. HashiCorp is the company, AWS is the provider. This is the version, this is the Linux machine, and this is the actual content. So yesterday when I went inside, I saw a lot of machine readable content is there. I don't want to go inside there again, but I just want to show you that the folder structure is there. Now, first time when you have to run the code, you say Terraform plan. So spelling mistake. PE Terraform plan. So plan is nothing but it's a dry run. It is telling you what is going to happen. So it has happened here. It says, I cannot find your credentials. There is no valid credentials available. So I told you, do not hard code the values. That's never recommended, like how we were doing something here. Never hard code the values, because if you hard code, you are exposing your content to everyone. Then we used AWS configure. I told, don't use that also, because when you use AWS configure, then also you are kind of exposing your credentials. So what's the right way? If you are working on AWS, the statement is, if you are working on AWS, then roles are the best way to give permission. So roles are nothing but IAM roles. So if you come here to AWS and say IAM, so IAM is a component which is identity and access management, and it will manage your AWS resources, like who will get what kind of access. So I'll go to IAM role, okay, and I will create a role. So if I click on this role, it says IAM role is an identity. You can create that has a specific permission with credentials that are valid for a short duration, and it can be assumed by an entity. So here my entity or my service is AWS, and to that AWS, I'm going to give certain rights. So how can you do that? So you can simply come here and say, create a role, and you say that who's going to use it. So my Terraform instance, which is an EC2 instance, is going to use it. So it will allow my instance to do certain task on my behalf. So I am saying EC2, go here, say next. And here, what kind of permission would you like to give? So for time being, I will give him admin permission, ADMINISTRATOR. So I'm giving him administrator permission. And if you, yes, this is not the recommended thing, because administrator permission means this guy will be full access, which is not the right way, but down the line, we will go ahead and make changes there. But as of now, I'm giving full permission and I'm starting my work. So I've given full permission. Simply go all the way down here and say next. Give a role name. So let me say my role is TF EVENING admin, something like this. Give any name of your choice. Go all the way down and say create. No, just created it. Is your work done? No. You have just created a role, but that role has to be associated with your instance. So I've given TF evening admin role. Now I have to associate it with my EC2 instance where my Terraform is running. Now, similar things can be done on Azure. Similar things can be done on GCP. Similar things can even be done on your local machine. But for time being, when you're learning, I would recommend that stick to AWS. Why? Because if you deviate and you fall into some kind of a problem, some issue which you're not able to solve, then you will lose the interest. So please stick to AWS. Once you are done with AWS, it will not harm you. That I can guarantee. It is not going to harm you. Once you're done with AWS, you can implement it on your local, on your GCP, wherever you want, you can implement it. So I am trying to implement it in AP South 1, which is my Mumbai region. Here I have my instance running. And this is the Terraform server, which I have just now brought up. In instance state, sorry, in actions, I will go to security and I will modify the IAM role. I will come here and say TF evening admin. So this is what I am associating. So it says attach an IAM role to your instance. So I created a role. Now I'm attaching it. Update. Now you don't have to do anything here. Come back and let's run the same command again. And now it's working. So I have not exposed my credential. I have not kept it in some folder. Rather, I have used a service of AWS, which is role. And using Terraform role, I am able to get my work done. So it is just plan. When you say plan, it is just going to tell you what all is going to happen. Okay. So basically, these many things are going to happen. Okay. Now, ls minus la. Still, I am showing you these many things are only there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to run your content. How are you going to run? So I will run it like this. Terraform apply. Now, when you say apply, At the end, it will go and say, do you want to proceed? That kind of thing it will ask. I don't want to go and say yes and all. So I will say minus minus auto approve AWP ROVE. So I've approved it. Go ahead and run it. Don't ask me for consent. I am giving you consent when I am running the command. So it says one item is going to get changed. And like yesterday, it will take some 30 to 40 seconds and it will create that content for me. Okay. Let's wait for another 10 seconds. And let me go to, so we are creating everything in US East 1. Okay. So it will go to US East 1 or North Virginia. And we'll see whether that instance came up or not. So yes, I can see an instance with the name as 77BC has been created. And if you see, it is using the default security group and there is no key pair. Okay. So obviously, if I want to log in, I can directly connect like this. I can simply click on this and connect because it doesn't need a credential when I have to connect via browser. Okay. Okay. Logged off. What happened to this guy? Wait, let me just see the password. No. Now you can see it is trying to log in. And it will log in if it is having all the requirements, but it never asked me for the password. When I created the instance at that time also, I saw that there is no key pair associated here because by default, the key pair is not required. But this is not the right thing because still I need so many things. But as of now, I have only provided two things. One is AMI and the second is instance type. And based on that, I went ahead and created my EC2 instance. Why name is not seen here? Okay, the name is not seen here because you have not given any name as of now. So I will just come up sometime. I will add a tag here and then you will see the tag will be visible to you. But as of now, I have not given the values and hence it did not pop up till this point of time. Now, there is something interesting which has happened in the background. Okay, what is that interesting thing? Let's clear out these things. ls minus la. Now, can you see there is one more file? One second. Can you see this file? tf state. So this is an interesting file which came to me. Did I create it? No. Who created it? So it was created by my Terraform script or the Terraform commands, whichever I ran. It was created by this. What is the content of this? What do you find it here? So I will say that my Terraform has a short-term memory. Now, as of now, if you ask my Terraform, tell me what command you ran. What was the output of that? It is not aware of that. It says, no, I don't know. But I have stored it in my TF state. So if you go here and say cat Terraform TF state, it will contain all the details. All the details in the sense, which version of Terraform you're using. Is it a managed environment? What are you trying to create? What is the default name provided? What is the ARN of the machine? What is the AMI you have used? How many count of CPU is there? Because T2 Micro comes with 1 core CPU and 1 GB RAM. Okay. Then IAM instance profile, as of now, it is blank. So like this, all small, big details is getting stored here. The private IP address, the public IP address, everything is getting stored here. So what is the benefit of this? I'll show you the benefit. Now, when you say that I have to destroy the application, okay, one second. So I will say Terraform destroy means I have to delete the application. So to delete something, first you should know what has been created. So that particular thing, it will get from your TF state file. So if I simply say Terraform destroy, it will say that I'm going to destroy these many things. It will tell you, give me 1 minute for this. It is saying I am refreshing the state and all these minus denotes that all these things will be deleted. Who is telling that this has been created? So I will simply say no here. Okay, so destroy has been cancelled. Now let's clear all these things. ls minus la. Who is telling that something has been created? This guy. TF state is telling that something was created, and that something is nothing but your instance, which has these many details and all. Subnet ID is there. So all these details are there. What happens, again, a very common interview question. What happens if you delete the file or accidentally you corrupt that file? So let me say, I am deleting that file. Yes, I'm not deleting it accidentally, but if I intentionally delete the file, okay, I've deleted the file. Now, if I run the same command again, what will happen? It will say, nothing to destroy. I don't know who you are. I don't have anything to destroy because that TF state file has been deleted. So it is like a memory. Somebody has wiped off your memory. You started from your home, you went to the market, and in the market, somebody wiped off your memory. Now, you don't know where you have to come back. Okay, so this is something like this. So let me repeat this. I am saying that Terraform is doing everything, like it is creating the instance, not only instance, there are many things like S3, RDS, whatever it is. So Terraform is creating the instance, it is doing everything because it has stored the state, or it has stored what it has created in this TF state file. But accidentally, if you delete this TF state file, or you have messed up with that file, done something wrong, then it will be kind of a short-term memory loss, something like you forget, and then you don't know who did what was done. Okay, you might have seen that movie. That movie was there, right? They went to Las Vegas and then they drank and then they forgot what they did for the entire day. Hangover. So something like hangover will happen. You will not be aware what happened in between. So earlier, if you remember, whenever I ran this destroy, it was ready to destroy, and it was telling, yes, I can destroy these many things for you, or I can create these many things for you. But now, because I have deleted this TF state file, it doesn't know what has to be destroyed. Now, can I manage this server with my Terraform now? No, it cannot be managed. Why? Because you have already deleted your TF state file. Yes, there will be a backup created. See here, there is a backup created here. Okay, TF state file would have become empty now. Let me just come back here. Cat TF state. See here, it has become empty. So there is no output. There's no resource here. Okay. So I will also see one more thing has been created here. LA. TF state backup has not been created. Okay, fine. So this guy got deleted. Okay. And because this guy got deleted, whatever I had in the memory, that got flushed. Because everything got flushed, this guy who was created by a Terraform script has now become an orphan kind of thing. Now the question can be asked, what if I run the script again? What if I run the script again? Yes, you can run the script again, but you will not get the same set of items again. Means you will get a new EC2 instance with new instance ID with new IP address. Okay, so this guy is an orphan. They doesn't have anyone who will manage it. Earlier, it was being managed by Terraform because it had a TF state. Okay. Now, let me unmute people. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead. It's a very important question. TF state, what is TF state and what is the work of this guy?
If we are using Visual Studio Code, VS Code, so then that is not from EC2 instance. If you are using EC2 instance, here you are using role, right? I am role.
No,
but when I'm
what you
using
have to do,
VS Code,
I'll tell you what you have to do here. In case you're using VS Code, which is there in the agenda, but like because it is coming a lot of times, let me take it now. Now, suppose you are using VS Code. Okay, so this is what my VS Code looks like. This is
then how do we specify I am role here? That is my question.
Wait. I'll come to this. Suppose I am using a VS Code. Okay, the first thing what I have to go is I have to go to manage settings, and here I have to integrate this with Git normal GitHub. Okay, I have already done that in my local. Once that is done, you can come here and say Git, sorry, not here, setting. You can go to preferences, wait, file, go to preferences, then go to setting, wait, file, preferences, setting. Now here you can say git clone. Okay, and you can clone your repo here. Git clone. Wait a second. See it, you will get something like this. Once you have added the plugin, you will get something like this. Okay, clone on this. Come here. So this is restricted mode. Okay. Wait a second now. I want to preference extension. So I am having this Git thing installed on my machine. Okay, so the Git thing. Okay, so this is something which you can install any Git plugin. Once you install this, trust and install. Let this happen. Okay, close this guy. Clone a repository. Okay, so I came here, clone a repository. Now suppose you have the code somewhere here. Okay, so you will clone somewhere and keep it in your local. Let me say I keep it somewhere here. Okay, so it will be cloned in my local. It is cloning the code, and you can say open. Now what you see is the entire code has been cloned here. Okay, now entire code has been cloned here. Now once the code has been cloned, okay, you can keep working on this. Okay, let me say I made some changes here. Okay, this is my file. I made some changes. Once the changes are done, you will have to commit the change. Okay, and then push the change to GitHub. So you can do something like this. Actually, this software is having a problem. See, if I go to this new terminal, see here, this is some error which I'm getting. This software only have a problem. The terminal. So what will happen is if you open the terminal, new terminal, terminal like this will open in the down here. I was trying it today, then it was failing. So some terminal will open here at the end. In that terminal, you say git commit, git add, whatever command you want to write. Then finally the code goes and sits in your GitHub repo. Here, it goes and sits in your GitHub repo. From here, if you are working on an Amazon Linux machine, you say git clone, and then you start your work, something like this. So you install git here, yum install git. Okay, and then you come here and say git clone, and this URL, whatever URL you have. So Terraform codes. This is the code what I have. So basically what happens is, if you are working from your local machine, so how does a Git architecture looks like? Just let me show you that. Git architecture. So whenever you work with Git, it is still local only. Wait, give me 1 second. So if you're working with Git, what you do is, the remote repository is nothing but your GitHub. So whatever code you have in your GitHub, you do a Git clone or Git pull and you bring it to your local workspace. In my example, I took the code and I have brought it here. Terraform codes, and let me just see the copy path. Wait a second, let me see where that code is. So it is in C users, desktop, eduxt, Terraform codes. Here it is. So eduxt and here. So on my local, I have it here, Terraform codes, and this is my code. Now, this is what I have done. I've created a workspace. Okay. In the workspace, locally, I'm making the changes. Once the changes are done, I will do a git add and move it to staging area. I will do a commit, move it to here, your local repo. And once I have done my changes, I will do a git push. It will go to my Git repository, which is here. And then once it is there in Git repository, you can come here and do a git pull. Git pull. So whenever you do a git pull, you get the latest code at your Amazon Linux. So this is how we will be dealing if you have this kind of a setup. So let me explain this. So this is my local machine. The code I will write and push it to Git. From here, it will go to GitHub.
But you are not entered into Git branch here in EC2, right? You are in root still, right?
No, if you go to Git branch, it will take the default branch, main branch. I'll show you. And this is your EC2, where your Terraform is installed. So this is the setup as of now, if you want. Because I have installed Terraform on EC2 instance, what I'm doing is I'm making the changes locally, pushing it to Git, and then finally pushing it to GitHub. And then
can you create a branch here?
Yes, you can do. Wait, hold on. Wait. So as of now, we have the code in GitHub. If I have to make the changes, it is not recommended that you directly make the changes on GitHub. So I clone the repo and bring it here in my local, make the changes, do an add and commit, put it here, and then finally put it here. Wait. Please. Is it for this? Wait a second. So this is what we are doing, or we are planning to do right now. So taking the code from GitHub, making the changes, taking all the way to Git, and then pushing it to GitHub. Then once the changes are in GitHub, I am doing a git pull and taking the latest change here. Now, in case you clear this diagram. Now here there is a question which says, what if I have the code in a different branch? So if I come here and say git branch, I can see I'm in main branch. And here, if I see my GitHub also, I am running with main branch. As of now, I don't have any branch apart from this. But in case you have a different branch, then when you're working here, okay, when you're working here, let me say I have another branch, okay, let me say master or say dev branch. So I will say git, first let me create that branch, git branch dev branch. And then I'll switch to that branch. I'll say git checkout dev. So now if you come here and say git branch, you will see your pointer is pointing to the dev branch. And obviously from here, you can simply do a drop down. As of now, only one branch is there. Assume that you want one more branch, new branch, dev. So you can come here and you can navigate. If you want to be in main branch, you want to be in dev branch. So you can be in dev branch and make changes to dev branch. And then that side, when you're pushing or pulling, make sure that you say git checkout this, or you pull, then say this. So when you're saying git push, say git push origin and this branch name. So again, that's a branching concept, which is there in Git. Okay. But please, that is
sorry, why are we putting everything on Git? I don't understand. Why does it need to go on? Is it for repository purposes, just to store it there?
Yes, just for storage. See,
my question is, if you are using VS Code, how do you specify AWS role there?
No, you can't. You can't specify there. AWS is only for AWS.
Okay. So then in that case, we need to use AWS configure only, right?
Huh. But why do you want to do it that way? Why can't you keep it in this fashion? So let me keep it in this fashion.
Suppose the client is not providing us a VM. In that case, we have to use our laptop only, right? Company laptop only.
Then
and
you
in that
use
case,
Git. No, what is the problem? You use Git.
Yes.
Huh. See,
I'm asking about the permission for AWS.
Permission only. If the client is giving you a EC2 environment, definitely he will give you permission. If he is giving you a EC2 environment or an AWS environment and he doesn't give you permission, then what can you do? You cannot do anything.
No, I'm telling that client is not giving me EC2. Is not at all giving me EC2. I have to, from my laptop, I have to use VS Code and I have to use credentials in my VS Code, AWS credentials. In that case, role will not be, we will not be able to use role. No. In that case, we can use AWS configure, right?
Yes. In that case, you have to configure. It is not AWS configure. Okay. Wait. This is a deviation from the topic, but let me just take this question. Okay. Okay. Now, when you say that you don't have access to the stuff, means you don't have that, what you say, access to that IAM role. So in that case, you have to create a user. Okay. So let me say I'm creating a user and let me say this user's name is Sam. And I have to give him this credential, or I have to give him programmatic access. So programmatic access means he will be able to log in via access key and secret access key, and he can use AWS CLI, SDK, and other development tools like Visual Studio Code and anything like that. So in that case, you will have to configure those things on your VS Code. We don't say it is IAM role. Okay.
Using AWS configure only, we have to do this, right?
Not exactly AWS configure. That's a different way. That's a SDK, software development kit. So there's a different way of configuring it. It is not AWS configure. AWS configure is majorly for CLIs or command line interface.
Okay. But how do we connect from my VS Code to, how do we add user, AWS user to my VS Code then?
No, you cannot do that. There has to be an admin who will give you access for certain things. See, there are two environments here. One is your local environment. One is your cloud environment. Now, if you want to enter the cloud environment, you need to have a valid credentials. Unless and until you have, you can't. So if you have a software here, you just say that, give me the credentials, I'll use it here. That does not work like that.
So you mean to say, if you want to talk with your local environment to the AWS, then you need programmatic access, right?
Yes, you need programmatic access.
So that programmatic access we can configure using AWS configure, right?
It is not exactly AWS configure. It is different.
But how, where, for example, where will you mention your secret key and access key?
That I will tell you later. It is not that. See, that is what I'm trying to share you.
Yesterday I asked, yeah, doing
Yes,
different
yes.
ways we can maintain our secrets,
Yes,
right?
you can maintain it different ways, but that is not AWS configure. We don't say it is AWS configure.
Okay.
AWS configure is only and only for CLIs, command line interface.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
When you are using any other kit or any other tool, like let me say you are using Atom Editor, you are using Visual Studio Code, or you are using Eclipse, any such editor, if you are using, it is SDK or a development tool. There, it's a different way to configure your credentials. Okay.
Roman, can you show that process as
I
well?
can show you that, but there is a problem with my VM. So that's a problem. This terminal is having a problem for me. So there's some problem with this, and that's why I'm not able to show you that. And that's
Okay,
why
in coming classes, just show the okay.
coming classes I can show you that. Okay, there is someone who told I'm getting confused late. Guys, please deviate from the topic and focus on the topic. Yep. So we deviated a little bit from the topic. Please continue on what you were
yeah,
doing.
because
Come. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Well, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
In your class, accidentally you have removed, intentionally you have removed this TF state file. But how can we recover that file?
Okay. See, direct recovery is not possible. Okay. There are indirect recoveries, like automatically many a times what happens, there is a backup file which will be created. Wait a second. See, a backup file will be created. Okay. If you want to take a backup, okay, then you have to push this content to your Git repository. So some of you were telling that I'm getting confused. Now let me just put everything together. Okay. Now, see, I have a laptop. I have a cloud environment. Okay. Now, I told that Terraform can be installed on your local machine. It can be installed on your cloud machine. I installed it here. But there is an individual who says, no, I don't want to install there. I will install on my laptop. Fine, no problem. But the communication has to happen from your local machine to this machine. There's a background noise. I'm muting everyone. So the communication should happen from your local machine to this cloud environment. There are many ways in which it can happen. Okay. One of the ways is you get programmatic access. You get your access key and secret access key, and you do it. Many a times we have seen that that access key and secret access key puts me into trouble. So a better way can be, you can bring a third party in between, which is Git or GitHub. Okay. As a developer, I will push my code to GitHub. I'll keep pushing my code to GitHub. Whatever changes I have done, I will keep pushing it to GitHub. And as an operation engineer or a cloud DevOps engineer, you pull the changes and take it to your cloud environment. This is one of the easiest and the smartest way of working. Whatever your developer is doing, he will simply push the code to GitHub, and whatever you want, you pull the change from your cloud environment. By this, you don't have to expose any credentials, and it is a safe way of working. Okay. Now, a question was asked, what if I miss my Terraform state file? Unless and until you take a backup, okay, there is no way to recover it back. Indirect means are there. You can put some arrangement and you can get it done, like Terraform import export functions are there. So by that you can get it, but still the book says, or the document of Terraform says that in case you have deleted the Terraform state file, you cannot get it back. In case there is a backup, yes. If there is a no backup, it is gone. If you are taking the backup here itself on your machine, there are chances the one who deleted this can delete this also, or accidentally he has deleted both of them. So it is always recommended that you keep the backup somewhere in your GitHub environment. So like how I'm keeping the code here, on top of that, you also go ahead and keep your Terraform state file. It's not going to harm you. If you see the size, it is hardly these many bytes, or even if it's a big file, it will not harm you at all. Okay. Now, any questions on this? Let me just open it again. Yeah. Any questions on this?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Tell me.
yeah,
As we are using a TF state file, right? So is there any mechanism kind of like in the Git revision, we can go back and particular?
In Git, you can do everything. Git, there is no problem.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
Hmm.
In such a way, Terraform also, for example, we have modified something, okay? Some
See,
infrastructure. We
Terraform is
don't,
not a version control tool. So in Terraform, you don't have such mechanism.
no, it's maintaining the state, right? Can we go back to the previous state?
But Terraform state only maintains the most recent state. It, like if you have changed your code 5 times, the 5th change is what is sitting there. Every time
So
it is
I want to go to
updated.
the second state
No,
of the
that
file.
cannot be done. You can't go to a selective state.
Yeah, that's my question. Here is.
Also, Vikas, when you say the state file is stored in say GitHub repository, every time the changes are made, do we have to push the updated state file again? Or does it happen?
Generally, we don't need the state file. The process is that as a developer, you push the code to GitHub. I will take the code from GitHub and I will generate a new Terraform state file, because Terraform state file is of no use to me. The most important thing is my TF file or the actual file, because Terraform state file I can create anytime. That is not a problem at all. If the code is getting deviated, then that creates a problem for me.
Yeah, right, sir. If state file is then GitHub, in my local main.tfl, because I continuously modify the main.tfl, I will add the few more services. Then how it will be updated in the TF state file?
See,
if it is in GitHub.
Yes, in GitHub, if you have changed your code 10 times, there will be 10 versions of that. If you want to keep the TF state also, you can do that. It is up to you.
And if there are 2, 3 or multiple developers working at the same time on the same code, and they're trying to push the code to the main branch in GitHub, for example, so doesn't that overlap? How does that work? I mean, do they every time if developer A has to push the code?
This question. Now, let me answer this. See, in Git, we have something called Git branching strategy. Okay. And the situation which you are talking about, it can happen. It's a very common thing. But if a project is operating at a production level, every developer has to follow the Git branching strategy, which says that you create your own branch, make changes on that, then raise a PR request, pull request. The approver will approve the changes, and then only it will go to next production environment or the main branch. So you should not be directly editing on the main branch. As a convention, as a best practice in every project, they will follow Git branching strategy. So you can just read through this. What is Git branching strategy? Or if it is there, I will let you know. It's like a 15 minutes thing. But if every guy is updating the same main branch, then you will get a Git merge conflict, which you're talking about.
Vikas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask, I know the Terraform state, TF state is not always available to employees or the developers. It's always managed by the company. So if someone peradventure deletes the state, are you going to show us how we can retrieve it?
Yes,
because
if you have saved it, yes, you can retrieve it. Okay.
Okay, because the Terraform will create another thing if that is lost. Just like you said, it's a memory loss for Terraform. So yeah, so then the one that is created before that is like a stray dog. How do we bring it back to Terraform?
Yes, for that you have to do a version control. A VCS has to be brought into picture. Version control system like GitHub, GitLab, anything like that. And Git merge conflict or Git rebase can be done. to solve the problem in case multiple users are using the same thing. Can we restrict Terraform apply to a specific resource? Yes, can be done. So there is a flag which you can use -- limit, I guess.
So because the TF state file, will it take the automatic backup?
No, that auto backup is not there.
Okay.
When you delete it and then you create it back, then a backup is taken.
Okay, and can we change the location of TF state once we run the main.tf?
That is up to you. Yes, you can. You can change the configuration. That is up to you.
Okay.
I can show you that. That's a small thing. Okay, fine. Great, guys. So then, yeah.
So before you go, so maybe in the later class, you let us know how to import other resource or infrastructure that are not created by Terraform into Terraform.
Yes, Terraform import function is there. I'll show you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, because just a quick question. So correct me if I'm wrong. So when we create this, when we install the Terraform, we start using Visual Studio Code, right? Just in case.
See, it is not mandatory for you to use Visual Studio Code. You can use any editor of your choice.
Okay. Yeah, no, in this case, for example, if I'm using Visual Studio Code, so the TF file is then created and in the local repository, which is my computer, right?
No. You are running the code in your AWS environment. So wherever you run the code, there the TF state will be created.
And how are we linking Visual Studio Code with AWS?
There is a plugin available for that. I'll show you that plugin. As of now, my Terraform, this Visual Studio Code is not working. That's why I could not show you that. But there's a plugin for that, and you can link your editors to it.
So basically, what I'm trying to ask is, once you run the code through using the pipeline, it should execute and implement the, say, if we want to create some instances on AWS, it should do that automatically.
Yes, it should do this
through automation.
Yes, that's the entire purpose of CI/CD. Yes, it should.
Yeah, if you can demonstrate that in the next class, I'll be great.
We will. Yeah. Okay, guys. See you then.
Because one more thing, like, see, just to keep the doubts after the class is over. Because see, today just more than 30 minutes it was taking for only doubts only. See, we don't know any kind of, I mean, for Terraform we don't know anything. See, if some guys are no Terraform, they're asking doubts and we are not getting right. More than 30 minutes time for taking doubts only. Because hello.
I think he's left.
I think he's left.
Because
He rushed off. That's not good.
Hello, Azure Technologies.
Yep, I think Vikas is left here. I'll convey your message. To the Vikas. Okay.
Yeah. Today total 30 minutes are taking for doubts only. See, we are not getting right.
It's better to conduct the Q&As after the session.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Whatever yesterday happened, same thing happened today only. So no,
Sure.
These three classes are nothing much happened actually.
I'll convey this to Vikas. No worries. I'll take care of.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Actually, I have one more doubt regarding that. If intentionally we remove the TF state file at the time of
the instructor has left.
State,
Sir, the trainer is not in the class, sir. He finished the class. You can clear all your doubts on Monday. Okay.
Okay, but at least he need to be informed to write for us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I'll convey all this, and we'll be having a WhatsApp group also. We can discuss over there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.